Flowers in the vegetable garden? You better believe it. Stay tuned and find out why. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Adobe Ring Ranch. So I wanted to cover some information on why I like to incorporate flowers in the vegetable garden. For the first and top reason is that I like flowers. They are easier to maintain for me, to keep an eye on if I include them in the vegetable garden area. And it just gives me that little pop of color amongst all of the vegetables. So what I'm going to do today is just take you around and show you some of my favorites this year. Some are blooming, some haven't started to bloom yet, and some of them, the flowers may have already gone by from this morning. They're a little bit faded, but I will do the best I can. So let me switch around the old camera and show you what I got. So before I start pointing out some of the flowers I have planted amongst my vegetables, I wanted to show you how some vegetables can actually look pretty good themselves. Can you see the colors of these stems? Amazing. This is actually my Swiss chard, and it's called Rainbow Mix. And these stems are all different colors, from reds to whites to yellows and oranges. I thought that was quite interesting when I picked up the leaves and saw that color. So don't rule out your vegetables for some pops of color in the vegetable garden. Moving along to this side, I had mentioned borage in past videos. And in the back here of this bed, I have 3 borage plants. And I'm not sure why, but this one stays pretty short. I've grown some in Connecticut, and they were like 4 feet tall, but they do produce these tiny little blue flowers. Hoping you could focus in on that. And it's like a little candelabra here. There's a ton of blossoms, and here's another look. Pretty interesting. The bees do love them. They don't seem to be on here right now. Let's see if I can focus in on this one back here. Yep, another one right here. They're small, but like I said, this little candelabra here will have a huge amount of flowers blooming. And again, it was put in the back side of this because I expected it to grow at least 4 feet tall, but it's not even quite a foot yet. Anyway, moving along, one of my personal favorites are the sunflowers. And I didn't want to grow a yellow sunflower this year, so I chose this dark chocolatey brown color. And what surprised me is that this was a multi-bloomer on a stem. Normally sunflowers will give you one big huge flower and that's it. This one has a number of different blossoms on it. I've already deadheaded the main flower here that opened up first. But as you can see, there's a lot of other blossoms coming out, and I love the yellow edging on this as it matures. And look at this one. Unbelievable. And there's another 2 that are kind of piggybacking each other here. I like that yellow center ring. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I liked putting in sunflowers in this particular bed. It was a longer bed. I've got some carrots in the front here, so they kind of back up the carrots a little bit. Now, I know some people frown upon planting sunflowers with other plants because they do say that sunflowers do have a chemical in them that prevent other plants from growing. I always found that to be true in the sunflower seeds, not so much the plants. But so far this year, my carrots and my scallions are growing well with the sunflowers, and I will probably be doing that again next year. Moving around the corner here, we've got a desert native here. This is called a yucca. They've got these little spikes of colors, red, pinkish colored flowers. The hummingbirds just love these. I think I had done a video a couple weeks back on them specifically, but it's a great desert plant here, and it requires very little water. I have a Mexican sunflower over here that probably won't be blooming for another month yet, but I'll be sure to show you that. It will have a smaller, maybe 4 to 5 inch diameter flower that's going to be like a reddish orange color. In between all of my tomatoes, I put in some zinnias for a little pop of color. They're just starting to bud up, so I am sure that probably within a few days they will open up. I did a mix. I don't remember the specifics. I have red, I have pink, and I've got a darker purple. So each little section will be a different color. And then in the middle of these tomatoes, I stuck in more zinnias. Again, that'll be a different color. And going around the cabbages here, yet more zinnias. Again, they're starting to bud up. And in the front here was a desert wildflower that I let stay because I knew the zinnia color would either be red or purple or pink, and I thought this yellowy color would go great with it. I just Google searched the name of this wildflower, and this is called an Engelmann daisy. So they're tiny little yellow flowers. I think they're kind of cool. So again, I left it. And moving over, we have more zinnias, a little bit slower to get going. And to finish off the row, I did another Mexican sunflower here. I'll be sure to show you those when they're in bloom. Within some of the vegetable beds, I've got a number of zinnias planted. Why? Because zinnias do well here. And I definitely had an earlier video talking about the Macarena zinnia. I like this one because it's got a couple different colors within the petals. These are getting a little tired out. Like this one, the colors are a little bit faded out. I've got to get these deadheaded, but there's plenty of new flowers coming out here. Let's move back over to the onion patch and pick up the zinnias in this area. Okay, within the onion bed, I have onions on one side, and then I've got cucumbers growing on the back side, and in the middle of the two, I planted more zinnias. This one I seed started. It's a pinkish lavendery color, more pink than anything. This one is kind of cool. So they are planted in the middle, and we had some seeds regerminate from last year. This is a reddish color zinnia. The flower isn't full enough for me, but this was the first one that came out, so I'll save my judgments on this particular zinnia until I see more open up. Coming around the front here is yet another one, and as you can see, This one is, I'm trying not to block the sun. This one here is blooming a little fuller, and I've tucked in a couple of more pink zinnias in the front here. So they do attract pollinators, and pollinators will also help get the fruit production off some of the vegetable plants. I almost passed up on the amaranthus or celosia plant. Check out the leaf color on that, pretty awesome. So I put a couple right down the middle of the watermelon patch here, which was exactly what I wanted it to do. Come up in the center, give me that little pop of color. Hopefully you can see that. I really like this look, and it may be a redo for next year. Moving back around, I have more of the yuccas planted here, and these are actually seed pods here, so they've already been pollinated. I don't think I'm going to be starting any more of these from seed, but what I will do is once these seeds are ripened, I will collect them and just kind of throw them in areas around the property. And if they germinate and take, great. If not, nothing lost. Coming back around this side, I've got something called a nasturtium planted. It's been a long time since I've grown nasturtiums, but I give it a go. I heard they were drought tolerant. They seem to be doing fairly well right now. This one is a mixed color collection. I've got some of those darker rose colors. I have some of these lavendery colors, and there's also a little bit mauve-y color. Actually has a couple of different colors in there. They're kind of striped, but this one's supposed to get a little bit more viney and long. Some can be only about 12 inches. That was the purpose of putting in these sticks and twigs. It kind of gave it a deserty look, but I was hoping that these nasturtiums could twine their way into the twigs back there and kind of soften up the fence line over here. Moving back around, I got the blackberries and raspberries, and I tucked in another zinnia, actually a zinnia row right down the middle here, and the one in the back here is actually blooming, and this one is just starting to open up. Kind of nice. Another one over here starting to open up. So the zinnias are just starting to take off right now. These little green spots here are, what are they? Gazanias, and they do really well in the heat of the summer. And I just noticed that I do have a flower bud just starting here. So this was a mixed colored seed packet. I did start these from seeds. I did not buy these. And once those open up, I'll be sure to show you. Coming around here, I've got some more of the nasturtiums. This one's growing a little more vigorously. And again, I'm hoping it'll go up onto the sticks over here and climb up on the fence. This one is that deeper purpley color. These flowers are kind of fading out at the moment. They were opened up earlier today, but I have some other ones opening up as well here, so it'll be a continuous bloom cycle. Let's see, moving along, I did have an extra cosmos. This is a dark burgundy color. It's just starting to set bud here. I've got a few in the front flower bed that are doing pretty well. So I had this one extra one. I thought I'd tuck it in with the veggies. We also have a number of the wildflowers popping up here and there, and I haven't had the heart to pull them out because they're looking pretty good, and I think it just softens up the edges of the rocks, And again, I had Google search these, so I'm going to tell you which ones are which. So after doing a Google search, this little white gem over here with some lavendery colored tones to it is actually called a bicolored mustard. It's got a silvery gray foliage, and I think the flowers on this are kind of cool. And then moving along, we've got another yellow colored wildflower. Again, the foliage is like a gray, greeny color, almost silver actually. And this one is called an this one's called Engelmann daisy. And then moving up to this one here, which is a bigger yellow flower. This one is called a desert marigold. It's a great looking flower, and after a rain, these do pop up all over the place. And I just discovered that we have a little tobacco plant here. It's a wild tobacco flower. Clint told me the flowers will probably be white because that's the common color with the wild tobaccos. They are a little invasive, but again, I'm going to leave them here and let them soften up the edges of the rocks here. So I just wanted to give you a little rundown on some of the planted flowers in the vegetable garden, and some are volunteers from Mother Nature that I'm leaving. The purpose of having flowers in the garden is one, I enjoy looking at them, and two, to attract those pollinators to come in and pollinate the vegetables as well as the flowers. And another reason is to confuse the hell out of some of the insects that could come in and destroy some of your plants. So planting flowers within your vegetable garden is a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. So I hope when you're planning out your future vegetable gardens that you will consider putting in some annual flowers as well. So for now, that's a wrap from the Adobe Ring Ranch, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. Thanks. So after doing a Google search, this little white gem over here with some lavendery colored tones to it is actually called a bicolored mustard. It's got a silvery gray foliage, and I think the flowers on this are kind of cool. And then moving along, we've got another yellow colored wildflower. Again, the foliage is like a gray, greeny color, almost silver actually. And this one is called an this one's called Engelmann daisy. And then moving up to this one here, which is a bigger yellow flower. This one is called a desert marigold. It's a great looking flower, and after a rain, these do pop up all over the place. And I just discovered that we have a little tobacco plant here. It's a wild tobacco flower. Clint told me the flowers will probably be white because that's the common color with the wild tobaccos. They are a little invasive, but again, I'm going to leave them here and let them soften up the edges of the rocks here. So I just wanted to give you a little rundown on some of the planted flowers in the vegetable garden, and some are volunteers from Mother Nature that I'm leaving. The purpose of having flowers in the garden is one, I enjoy looking at them, and two, to attract those pollinators to come in and pollinate the vegetables as well as the flowers. And another reason is to confuse the hell out of some of the insects that could come in and destroy some of your plants. So planting flowers within your vegetable garden is a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. So I hope when you're planning out your future vegetable gardens that you will consider putting in some annual flowers as well. So for now, that's a wrap from the Adobe Ring Ranch, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. Thanks.